Hello and welcome to another interview. Today we have Talia, and she is a business coach who I originally met on Mums Unlimited, and will be sharing a sort of 10-20 minute talk that she's done, which is all about the customer journey. So look out for that. That will follow this one. So that will be part 2. So this is part 1, where we're just sort of having a little chat so that you can get to know Talia a bit, and sort of understand sort of the role, I suppose, of what a business coach is and what they do and why would you work with one. So, but firstly, Talia, if you want to just tell us all a little bit about your background and how you became a coach, a business coach.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be here. So in answer to your question, so I started as a business strategy coach about 2 years ago now, and I came out of a job that I was employed in, and I was made redundant, and I wanted to. I came from working in business improvement, and wanted to kind of work a little bit more directly with people and helping them with their businesses, and felt like that actually I wanted to have a bit more flexibility in my life, and was quite driven by the whole being a mum and wanting to be a bit more independent in terms of what I could do, how much I can earn, and the hours that I do. I'm sure there's people out there that resonate with that. The whole 9 to 5 and having kids and doing pickup didn't agree with me, because I really wanted to be there on sports days and things like that. So having come from that business improvement, doing lean projects with internally within company, I felt like actually I could take this and work with people individually and help them with their businesses. So I did some training. I did some social media, some internet, some web training. I did some business entrepreneurial training and coaching training, and kind of started to mold what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And then got myself a business coach to help me to build my business and to start off, because obviously I hadn't worked before. I'd been in industry for years. I hadn't worked for myself before. So yeah, it's been a great experience for me. And now, having worked with so many women to help them with their businesses and all different types of businesses that they run, especially those businesses the younger years, and with women that are of a similar age to me, that have been on a similar journey, it's quite rewarding to be able to help them to be financially independent, and to be able to run their own business and to grow it and to build that vision that often that we don't develop and realise that the necessity of it, to have those goals and those achievements and that whole ideas of where you want to go with your business. I do find that that's really valuable, to have that forward focus. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last few years, and it's going really well at the moment. It's great.
So I guess sort of your target market is sort of a version of yourself sort of a couple of years ago, so you're sort of a little bit ahead, as it were, as and can put into practice what you've learnt to launch a business, but also helping others with that as well.
Yeah. And that when somebody's doing their ideal client, when I work with clients to do their ideal client, and I'm sure you're aware of it, the working and putting down information about your ideal client, you often find that it's yourself. And previously, whether it was last year, the year before, or 10 years ago, whether it's yourself, but when you went through a trauma in your life, an accident, or perhaps an operation or cancer or something like that, being able to identify that they're the people that you now want to help because you've experienced it and gone through it yourself, then it gives so much more value to who you're working with, and they're able to resonate with you, and vice versa. I've definitely found that with my coach, that there was a lot of similarities in terms of journey within life, but also as a mum, and how life is going at the moment. So it really made a difference for working with somebody that could understand my lifestyle and what I needed to do to build my business.
Absolutely. And I think, I have business coaching and in various kind of coaching groups and stuff. And it's been not only a massive shift for my business, but also kind of just in life, of having a much better understanding that, you know, you can't really separate them. You know, even, you know, when you go for business coaching, you know, life kind of bleeds into it, or, you know, your mindset and stuff, where you're at emotionally and all of that. There is that kind of overlap there, but it's makes a big difference. And also, you know, being in business can be really overwhelming. So that's where working with someone like yourself and having a business coach will give you that outside perspective, not only from what you've already experienced and gone through, to say, well, have you considered this or this, and sort of some of the more practical stuff like, well, have you got a process in place, etc. But also that kind of hand holding and going, but it will be okay, and, you know, I've been there. So you've got that, both, as you said, the resonating with your clients, but also being able to share that know-how and help them through, you know, times of overwhelm or when there's too much going on.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. You need a
what would,
sounding board a lot of the time. I
yeah,
don't think people realise how hard building your business is, especially if you're surrounded by people that are employed and don't understand what it's like. And then when somebody like a friend or family says, "Oh, how's your business going? What's going on with it? You know, everything all right?" You're kind of like, "Yeah, it's great, thanks." It's very difficult to say, "Well, I'm running a workshop, I'm sending out my newsletters, I've got a number of client meetings, I've got a project on the go, I need to connect with some more clients and to put my new service out there. So I've been building a landing page, not built one before, but I need to do it, and I need to put my email series in." You just don't say that to people. But if you had when you have a one-to-one with a coach, and you can go back and forth with your ideas and think, "Oh, I'm getting stuck on this," and, you know, understanding what your barriers and your hurdles are, it's huge in terms of your progress, because there's so many of us have got that ability to do this on our own, and so many people do. But if you're the kind of person that's really driven and wants to succeed quite quickly, having a business coach to help you to accelerate and skip over the things that might slow you down when you're actually doing it by yourself, and helping you to understand your self-beliefs that maybe that kind of get in the way, and understand your own value, and to help build your confidence, it just means that you can skip forward and accelerate your business and be out there and earning money so much quicker than if you're doing it all by yourself, and those self-doubts kind of get in the way and slow you down, and you start procrastinating over things and putting things on the bottom of your list. And yeah, it can make such make it such a slow process without having that support.
I guess it can save time also, like when, you know, it's really easy to kind of invest money in the wrong thing, or that's not a right fit because you're being told that you should do this, or that's great, without really considering whether it's right for you and your business. So by having, again, that kind of person to talk to that's got the right qualifications and background, you can kind of give them that insight to say, almost permission to say, no, it's okay not to do that if it's not right. You know, sometimes, you know, we're bombarded with so much information and so much, you know, oh, you could do this and you have to have this and you've got to be everywhere, and it's like, no, you know, just calm down and focus on one thing at a time, kind of thing. Or as you know, that strategy to sort of build on what you've got and grow it incrementally.
Yes, yeah. It's and that growth part of it is very difficult, because getting the ball rolling at the beginning and getting those strategies in place can be quite tricky, and it takes a while to understand what to do first, like, because there's so many things to do. But the great thing is, once you start working with clients and experiencing and learning from what you're doing, and then also getting referrals from other people and learning how to keep that relationship with your clients that you've had to support you in the long run, is so valuable in terms of that growth. So yeah, it's all part of the process that you don't necessarily understand until you're in it. So I think it's so valuable to be able to speak to others around you and learn from people that have gone through that journey already.
So you were saying that you you like to work with a version of yourself, so someone who's been in some sort of job and career and is a mum and, you know, is trying to sort of transition to have that flexibility. Is there any other sort of type of people, like is there a particular industry that you're finding that, you know, people are setting up businesses in or have a business in that you then work with? Is there any kind of common thread there at all, aside from being a mum and setting up a relatively new business?
It's an interesting question, actually, because it's not deliberate. But so I do work with clients that not necessarily starting at the very beginning. It tends to be the early years, and
what does
sometimes.
that mean for those that don't know what that means?
So you could either be somebody has just come out of industry and starting from scratch and haven't got a website, haven't got any social media, don't know about putting your books together, and don't know about building CRM systems in terms of having a database for your clients, and not sure about your branding and your logo and your visibility, all that. So you could be that person right at the very beginning, but you can also be somebody who's gone through that, maybe self-built a website, self-built a logo, have got kind of dabbled on Facebook or LinkedIn, kind of maybe gone to a couple of networking groups, but haven't kind of fully established yourself as a business and understood the steps that you're going to take in the future in terms of, right, I'm offering a one-to-one service at the moment, but in the future I'm going to do an online workshop that people can download. In the future, I'm going to do one-to-one accelerator programs. So it depends. Like myself, I didn't plan to do a membership program at the beginning, but I built that vision over some time and thought, right, I'm going to plan it for in 6 months' time. I'm going to start a membership program, and it's just so happened it actually started in lockdown, but that wasn't part of the plan because I didn't foresee lockdown. But it's all about helping them into the next stage. So they may be at a stage where they've been doing something for a long time and nothing's shifting. They're not making as much as they'd like, and they don't understand what to do next to get that growth and what kind of service that they could be offering. So there's that part of it. But then you're also talking about the person that I work with and that connects with me. And when I say not deliberate, so I've built this kind of avatar in my head, an ideal client of that 40 to 50-year-old type of person that used to work in industry, has most of the time has got kids, has got a young business. So and they work a lot of the time in kind of creative industries or holistic well-being industries. And the bit that wasn't deliberate was that type of person that is kind of thinks outside the box a bit, is more self-aware, somebody who actually is really conscious of their subconscious, if that makes sense. Somebody that realizes that actually my own mental well-being and my mindset is a huge part of my success, and I need to be able to have somebody to support me or have mechanisms to support myself through that. Because all part of being an entrepreneur is setting those processes in place to take care of yourself, and not a lot of people realise the importance of that, of having perhaps a morning routine and having hours of your day that are fixed in the same way as you do in industry, being kind to yourself and having proper lunch breaks and having exercise and all that kind of stuff, and not throwing yourself into it thinking I've got to do this, I've got to get this done, because actually you slow yourself down by not taking care of yourself. So I've kind of attracted the type of person that is driven, that is willing to take care of themselves, that is willing to invest in themselves and sees their own value. Whereas it took a little bit of time for me to kind of get that established. Whereas that person wasn't as well defined at the beginning, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so final question time. So what would you say, is there anything that you feel is your kind of your special sauce, your secret sauce, that is sort of sets you apart from like other coaches? I mean, aside from obviously you sort of really elaborated on your kind of ideal client, the type of people you work with, which is great. But why would people choose yourself over maybe another coach? Is there something that you kind of, as you've worked with your clients, you're like, oh yes, I'm really awesome at this? So what Is there something that you've identified?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of business coaches will be a little bit, will be like action coaches, will be quite hard and fast, and they will give you strict deadlines and make you get them done, and won't necessarily have your next session unless those actions are completed. And I understand the value of that and think it is really important to do that. But the type of client I work with, who quite often have got children that can be quite young children, it's not always realistic, because you have half terms that come up, you have sicknesses that come up, things happen within the family that slow you down, and the realistic time that you thought you had perhaps hasn't been realistic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So because of that, I have a more gentle approach. I do go through actions. I do encourage them to get them done. I do support them in terms of how they do it, and guidance in terms of training if they need it. And I will hold their hand through those steps. And I will nudge them and get in contact with them in between sessions. But I do, and I have a firm approach, but I'm not hard and fast in terms of kicking somebody up the backside. So it's down to the person, the amount of drive they've got, and how much they succeed in the program and the time we're together. So I tend to work with clients over a space of 5 months. I used to do it over 3 months, and then discovered that actually these mummies that I work with, and these women that I work with, don't always have the time to intensely put a program together and to grow their business in the space of 3 months. So that's why I've started doing more 5-month programs, and the speed that they go at. So we can achieve a huge amount in that time, or we can just achieve the main goal that they want to get done in terms of getting their business out there. So it all depends on the person. But yeah, it's definitely about, the secret is definitely about the way that I work, and my approach with each of my clients, and my understanding and my flexibility with them.
That's good to know. Yeah. It's it sounds like a good blend of accountability and support, but also that realization that sometimes stuff happens, and that you got to have a bit of flexibility. So it's good to hear that. So yeah, well, thank you so much, Talia. I hope that guys that are watching this, that you found this useful. If you've got any questions, feel free to connect with Talia. You've got a free Facebook group, which I'll share the links and all the bits in the description. So definitely sort of reach out, ask any questions. I think
Feel
we've
free to have a chat with me if you want to connect that way as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I presume you've got like a little discovery call, like free discovery call.
Yeah, I've got a virtual coffee that you
Excellent.
can book a session with me to have a chat online. So yeah, be good to
We'll
connect.
make the most of that. I think it's really useful to, make the most of these sort of resources out there, and start people on your customer journey, isn't it? But yeah, it's we're all here to sort of help each other out. So definitely get in touch. Well, thank you again. I shall end the recording. Check out the Talia's customer journey talk, which will be posted in about a week's time. So look out for that, and I'll try and do some links backwards and forwards so that the breadcrumbs are there to watch both. So there we go. Thank you again.
Thanks a lot.